Assalamu alaikum, and a very good day to everyone. Welcome to Introductions to Politics and World Civilization video. So, for today, I would like to introduce to you the concept of politics and also world civilization. Enjoy the video and take some notes, all right? So, introduction. Here we have first definition of politics and civilization. Number two, the nature and scope of political science. And number three, politics and history. The difference or the relationships between politics and history. So, the definition of politics. Okay, it is in the broader sense is the activity through which, number one, people make the general rules. Why? Because we are going to live together. Okay, so we need to have certain general rules. Number two, preserve that general rules. For example, human rights. Okay, that all of us, regardless status, regardless gender, regardless sex, regardless race, we should have equal human rights. And then we need to preserve it. Okay, how to make sure that the rich will not oppress the poor. So there are laws and rules, and in order to preserve the general rules. And then amend the general rules when it is not in line with the needs and also the rights of the people. For example, now we have this a bigger awareness about sexual harassment, okay, whereby last time it used to be something that is so-called normal or it's just a joke. For example, we are now listening to cases, a case related to a teacher making a joke out of rape, okay, in front of girls and boys. Then it sparked an issue, and we are trying to amend general rule. So Malaysia is going to introduce a sexual harassment act, anti-sexual harassment act. Okay, before this, okay, sexual harassment is regarded as a joke or not something that is serious, a serious offense. But nowadays, okay, because it does actually not in line with our rights, especially women's rights. So we are now looking at a severe punishment for those who commit sexual harassment. So we amend that law, make it it's a serious offense, not a joke anymore. So now we go to definition of politics. Okay, if you look here in my slide, I have stated that politics is the activity through which people make, preserve, and amend the general rules under which they live so that we can have a good life together, whereby we respect each other and so forth. Number two, it is about the entire fabric of social relationships. So it's about social relation, how to manage conflict, how to actually enhance cooperation, okay, between individuals. We have so many groups like Malaysia. We have all this racial Indian, Malay, Chinese, and also Iban, Kadazan. So how we actually accommodate the needs of everyone, not to enhance conflict, but to enhance cooperation. Okay, and of course, classes. And classes means the status, okay? Who earns more, who earns less. That is a part of classes. And any persistent pattern of human relation that involves power, rule, and authority. In one of our topic, I will actually explain to you further about the difference between power, rule, and authority. Okay? So, most of you learned about politics and state affair, how politics related to state affair. All right, so for my class, state bukan negeri, it's not negeri, but it's a country. Okay, but in political science, we like to call it state. Okay, so politics and state affair, how it is interrelated. Number one, exercise power. Okay, as a prime minister, he has our Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin has a power to decide what is the best for the country, for example. Okay, number two, allocation of values and distributions of resources. Who gets what? Okay, for example, we have budget 2020, budget 2021. So each ministries, how much they will get. Okay, because the ministry, for example, for Ministry of Women, okay, how much, okay, is the allocation for women, for example, how much allocation for OKU, how much allocation for Belia or students like all of you. All right. So then number three, the resolution of conflicts, compromise, and consensus. So when talk about state affair, there are so many conflicts. Okay, politics is dealing with how to compromise, how to gather consensus, to what extent we want to give this group banyak and this group sikit, and how. So there are always a lot of bargain, a lot of conflict happens. So at the end of the day, how we use politics to compromise and to actually gather consensus. Okay. Number three, it is a competition among individual groups and state pursuing their interests. This is the thing. Okay, so this is why we do have a lot of conflict. Why? Because there are a competition between each groups. Okay, so some people get more compared to the other group of people. Why? When you have a stronger voice, usually you will get more. So, as youth, all right, if you really want a good future, you really need to know how politics work and making sure that you are able to demand your needs and rights together so that the government will listen to you. For example, okay, uh, minimal minimal payment for graduate salary. Okay, since I was young, since I was 24 until now I am 44 years old, the starting rate for you as a student, as a 24 years old fresh grad, is still 2,000, never increasing, never increase. So maybe this is one of the things that you want to fight for. Okay, amplify your voice through social media. You know, we have social media, we have newspapers, and we can actually write to PM, to his Facebook, and so forth. Okay, so another one, the art of government, how the government works. Okay, some government use a very harsh, for example, like North Korea. Okay, you can't even have internet, you might be executed to death if you have internet anyway. All right, they only have one TV channel and so forth. But like Malaysia, the art of the government of Malaysia is democracy, whereby we believe that everybody, we have the rights to express ourselves, to choose, and so forth. Okay, but we do have extremely more country that celebrate more freedom. For example, certain country is okay with, certain countries are okay with LGBT, for example, like Malaysia, we don't. Okay, so there are extremely free, limitless freedom. There are extremely no freedom at all, like North Korea. So like we are in the middle, whereby we do have certain limits, especially when it comes to based on our religion and also our tradition. Okay, and politics is about public affair, about you and me, not about politician. Okay, so remember that. Okay, so again, this is a definition made by an academician, okay? And he said that politics is the process of who gets what, how, what, when, and how. So if we do not learn politics and we do not want to know about politics, in other words, we do not really care about what we get, when we get, and how we get. So we let other people to decide what we get. So never ever not liking politics. You must like politics, okay, because it's all about what we will get. Okay, politics, education, wealth, status, and values, power, and values of resources. Okay, the study of politics is the study of influence in the influential. The influential are those who get the most of what there is to get. Those who get the most are elite. The rest are masses. Okay, be the elite at least to know what's going on in our country. Okay, now we go to the definition of civilization. Okay, Oxford Dictionary said is the act or process of civilizing or being civilized. Okay, it is an advanced country, human society. So the science, culture, industry, and government. Okay, then it is all progress made by men and women. Yeah, okay, in every sphere of action. So the characteristic of civilization, at least 10, some books or some notes, they have written more than this. We have cities, there's government, job specialization. In other words, we do have doctor, we have a lecturer and so forth. Arts and agriculture, architecture, okay, like pyramid, we can see, oh, it is a civilization by itself. A social class, maybe we don't really like it, but is there. Okay, the king, the poor, the middle class, and so forth. Until today, we do have that. Okay, writing, economic, religion, moral, and knowledge. So cities, as I mentioned, when we're starting to have cities, then we start to have permanence. So it's not a nomadic or hunting kind of mode of survival. Okay, not anymore. Then we call it civilization. Okay, then we have religion. Religion is we do have categorized into two: animist and politistic. All right, animists believe in there's one creator of God who no longer has contact with human, and the other one there's the existence of many gods. Okay, like us, we believe in one God as a Muslim. Then we have a government. Government, the main, we have central, we have ancient, the king, monarch. Why? Why it is necessary to have government to keep peace? Okay, will be in the middle. All right, and then make decision, ensure things get done without any conflict. So this is the thing about government, you need to remember, is not to enhance conflict, but it is actually to solve any kind of conflict. Job specialization. In terms of job specialization, okay, it is in labor. Well, we have a different kind of specialization. Arts and agriculture, as I mentioned, um, it is like what we have here. So these are the agriculture. Yeah. Social class. This is one of the example of social class. We do have what we call feudal system last time, whereby the lower class will have to give all. They are not owning any land, and they need to give some fees to the lords and the nobles. Okay. We will learn about this further later in chapter 4. Yeah, writing. Okay, we do have traces of writing. So now we go to what is political science. Okay, it's a study about politics. Okay, the politics is something that human being act, and political science is when we study about it. Okay, so it's a study about the state of political science, and then it's a part of social science and deals with general problem of state and government. So usually it's specifically on state and the government, the negara and the kerajaan. Yeah. So nature of political science, okay, is mentioned by all this Aristotle, Borden, Hobbes, and a lot more. Okay, why we call it as a science? Because it can be analyzed systematically. You can learn political science in a systematic manner. All right, why we say it is a sign? Number one, as I mentioned, systematic manner. Number two, it can be experimentation. It is possible. Number three, it absolute and universal law. So we have democracy, we have authoritarian country, we have a monarchy system. So all this, it is universal. All right, and then we can do prediction. Okay, who's going to win in our next election? So some political scientists has the ability to analyze and predict who's going to win. And then there are certain principles and methods that you can use. And also, it is a subject that which has scientific nature, okay, of learning. So in chapter 2 and chapter 3, you are going to learn about the subfields of political science. So what are the subfields of political science? We have four. Number one, comparative politics. Number two, international relations. Number three, political philosophy. And number four, public administration and policy. This is our last segment. As this is an introduction video, I would like to let you know about the correlation between politics and history, why we are learning this together. Okay? The thing about history without political science has no fruit. Political science without history has no root. In other words, okay, if a person do not have a history like Malaysia, because of our history, we've been colonized by British. That's why we have British flavor in our constitution of Malaysia. Okay, why? Because they used to be our colonizer. All right, and why we have Malay privileges? Because of negotiation going on last time after the Malayan Union hiccups and so forth. Then we have uh, our our Malay privileges, and also we have this Rukun Negara. Talking about emphasizing about unity, because what happened in 13 May 1969. Okay, so and also why we have a peaceful nature of politics, of way of life. One of the reason is because when we gain independence, when we have conflict, our government take an approach of peaceful approach. We reject violence since or before we gain independence. So in Malaysia, violence is something that is alien for us. Okay? We prefer negotiation, we prefer debates and discussion. So because of that, our root is non-violent. So our politics is non-violent and peaceful and progressive. Okay, so we must trace the history and various institutions not for the sake of history, but to enable us to form a conclusion of our science. Like us, why we have a peaceful nature of nation and country? Because our history shows that we do get independent peacefully and we solve our racial conflict peacefully. Okay, we dislike violence since before independence. All right, history not merely records events but analyzes causes and point out tendencies. Okay, so it's kind of like recognizing what is really is and biography of ideals. Okay, like if you want to know about a country, you also can actually read about for example, you want to know about South Africa, you read about Nelson Mandela, for example. Okay? All right. So if you want to know about what happened Italy, you may actually read about some of the history of Italy and also why Italy become what it is now today. Okay, there are, we call it fascism and Nazism. Okay, and um, and we will learn this in chapter 4 and chapter 5 when we learn about World War One and World War Two. So that's all. Okay. So I believe that reality is what we construct. So let's construct the best reality because we will decide what we want to feel, act, and achieve. Thank you. Bye.